One major consideration to think about when doing a development or building your own home is to consider your living spaces and how those living spaces interact with each other. What I mean by that is, depending on what market you're in, depending on what price point, what do buyers expect, or what do people that are renting a property expect to have in terms of space. You don't want to design something that's too big for the area, but you also don't want to design something that's too small where the buyers are going to discount it. And my main rule of thumb is to get areas of certain size so you can fit certain size furniture in there. For example, this property has enough space for a couple of decent lounges to fit in the lounge room. It's got enough space for a dining table, an 8-seat dining table in particular, and the kitchen is enough to facilitate a 5-bedroom house. I'm also targeting a price point on this property. It is around the mid 1 millions on this in terms of pricing. So it needs to be of that certain size, but I didn't want to overdo it, because if I go and spend another 200,000 on the build and getting additional living areas, it may not actually add any extra value to the property. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of people do. They either go too big, too much living space, or they go too small and nobody wants to buy it, or nobody really wants to rent there because it is too tight. You've got to know your market that you're in. You've got to have a look at other properties and where they're selling for and what you can basically get away with for that price point. And once you start to etch up into that unaffordable price range, so for example, this market, that when you start to get unaffordable, you're in the 1.5 million plus, and what buyers expect in that price range is much bigger living spaces, much more affluent fit out on the property. So to get to that next level, that next jump up, there's a smaller buyer pool, and there's also a lot more expense in doing so. So you're in that minority, you're above the median. So you preferably don't want to be too high or too much further above the median. And if you are going to be above the median price for a suburb, and you are chasing that luxury market, you need to be 110% on point with the property or the product that you're delivering. Because if you're not, then people are going to discount it. Luxury market is very finicky. You can do extremely well, but if you get it wrong, you can do extremely poorly as well. So know the market that you're in, whether you're building a house, whether you're even buying a house, know what to look for. And one thing that I look for is living space sizes, and knowing what size furniture is going to fit in there. Just take it back to who is actually going to live in the property. If it's you, how big is your furniture? If you're leasing the property out, how big is the tenant's furniture? What do they expect? Or if you're on selling a project at the end, what are you going to be on selling it with? Is it a family? Do they need multiple couches? Do they need a large kitchen? Are they going to be doing a lot of cooking? Do they need a 4-person dining room setting? Do they need a 6-person, or do they need an 8-person? And how is that furniture going to fit into the space?